At this Montreal butcher, Quebec venison is on offer, and staff here are more than confident it's safe.
We always get this deer meat from always the same supplier, and that supplier never really had any problems.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says animals like deer and elk slaughtered in abattoirs in Quebec, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Manitoba, and Yukon must be tested for chronic wasting disease, or CWD, before the meat can be sold for food. The disease affects the central nervous system in hooved animals like deer and is similar to mad cow disease. While the CFIA says there is no direct scientific evidence it can be transmitted to humans, it recommends people don't eat infected meat and says there is a range of precautions to keep it out of the food system. But 3 new cases detected on Alberta farms this year have some calling on the government to do more.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency, which is under the jurisdiction of our federal health minister and Health Canada, has to create a new policy immediately that ensures that no meat from contaminated CWD farms, deer or elk in Canada, is permitted to go into the human food chain.
Part of her concern is around what happened last year when the disease was confirmed at a deer farm in Quebec. The herd was culled along with wild deer in the surrounding area. But CFIA has said the meat that tested negative was allowed to be sold for food, even though its website states a negative test doesn't guarantee the animal is not infected. Still, one researcher who has studied the disease for years says the risk to consumers buying farmed meat is exceptionally low, but says hunters should be careful.
I'm never going to say there's no risk. Again, I think that the bigger risk is to hunters that aren't testing their animals or that are eating test-positive animals.
Quebec's red deer producers say last year's case has had a ripple effect on the industry.
All of us are concerned about that because the venison market is very, very disturbed.
The CFIA says none of the animals from the last 2 cases entered the food system, and the farms remain under quarantine. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.